What up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Live Game, episode 76. This is your average man's perspective on football. I'm your co-host, Marcus. Joining me on the panel tonight is Herman. Say what up, Herman.
Hey.
Next up is Brian. Say what up, Brian.
Thank you for joining us.
And last but not least is Mark. Say what up, Mark.
Good evening.
Good evening. Before we get started, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching on YouTube. You can also catch us on Facebook in our Facebook group, The Live Game. We're also on Twitter at The Live Game 3 and catch us on Instagram at The Official Delay of Game. So this is our first, I believe it's our first ever off-season show. I think we've done some preseason shows. This is like straight off-season. Yeah. We decided not to go away for the whole summer this year.
So you guys the spotlight.
That's right. So you guys want to forget about us, and so we're doing a show tonight, and we'll be doing one every 2 weeks. I guess until preseason or the season starts. So hosting the show tonight is Brian. Go ahead, take us off. Go ahead, start us off, Brian.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's funny. Every time we start the show, Marcus introduces us and he tells us to say something, and we all say something totally different and don't listen to what he tells us to say. After 76 shows, you think we might, just say what Marcus tells us to say. But
I'm just giving you general instructions. I'll allow creativity and
Well, we should probably just be like, Herman, and then Herman can say, hey, and then I'll be like, say what up. We don't never say what up. but football season was over. We did our last show, and we thought we'd just come back and have a few conversations, just about football, because football is 24/7. There's always some news. There's always some things going on, and we'd like to share our opinion with you guys and also get your opinion. So, like Mark said, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to our Twitter and what is the other one? Instagram. Mm-hmm. You guys can put questions on there, topics. If you wanted to join the show, we'd be more than happy to let you get on board. We just do this for the love of the game. So as normal, we're going to start with some of the news of the week, which is pretty short. As of course, we have Marcus's favorite, coronavirus.
It's acting up right now.
And look, and this is the first show you was prepared for, Brian.
So
there you go.
So in the news, the only thing really corona related in the offseason was Mike Tomlin, the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, had contracted the virus. I don't know why I'm struggling with that word.
He got the virus.
Yeah, he caught it.
Right, he caught it.
So, since the Super Bowl finished, the first notable person to contract COVID is Mike Tomlin, the Steelers head coach. Tomlin and some of the members of the coaching and personal staff were sent home last week after a couple tests were positive. Currently, Tomlin is working virtually from home, but says he will be back in the office soon. And we all wish him the best and hope he gets back to the office as soon as possible. In other news, the recent trade of Carson Wentz to the Colts also created a little havoc because, as we all know, Carson Wentz wears number 11, but they have a number 11 on the team already, a young wide receiver named Michael Pittman.
Junior. Michael Pittman
Jr. Not his dad, but I guess his son. Hours after the Wentz deal was announced, the quarterback texted Pittman inquiring on the number 11. Pittman informed him that it was going to stay, and Wentz says he was cool and would get another number. Wentz has been the number 11 since his college days, but it looks like this year he is going to don a different number on his uniform. So good luck to Pittman.
Yeah, it looks like there's three numbers that's not attainable from the coach, and that's number 11, number 18, and number 19. He ain't getting 11.
That's 19.
Johnny Unitas.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So I just speaking on that, I just think it's funny. Carson Wentz, he even gets no respect with his new team. I mean, do you think Tom Brady would have had a problem getting his number?
Hell no.
Hey, but look.
Matter of fact, what's his name was 12? Was
Garwin was Chris
Yeah,
Garwin was
he gave it up immediately. He gave it up
Yeah.
immediately. He showed respect.
I'm like, first of all, he gets no respect in Philly. He got a statue of Nick Foles up there, and then he goes to Colts and dude was like, some wide receiver. I don't even know Michael Pittman's stats or if he's that good of a wide receiver, but it's like, nah, dude.
I think this is his second season. This is his second year.
This is his first.
This was his first season.
This is first.
He got hurt. I thought he got hurt.
He was out for a minute.
But y'all know what's funny? I forget who it was, but one of the wide receivers for AJ Brown for Tennessee tweeted, "Bro, you ain't never getting the ball now." So you need to know who's in control of spreading that ball around.
That is legit. That is legit. I think if Carson Wentz, just puts a little more ching ching in it, I think he'll let it go.
You know what though, too, real quick. Y'all remember the movie The Fan?
Yeah.
Where Wesley Snipes got traded.
Yeah.
I think the dude wore number 11 too, and he wouldn't give it up to Wesley Snipes in the movie.
and Robert De Niro killed him, didn't he?
Yeah, Robert De Niro killed him.
Yeah. But number 11, that's not really a famous wide receiver number. I don't know.
It's really not, but I mean, I'm sure he has.
It's in the 80s, like you're supposed to be.
But you would think that maybe the organization would have maybe stepped in and said, "Hey,
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna need you to get that jersey up.
Right, because ultimately they do control the numbers.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so that's all the news we have for this week. So we're going to get into this kind of a little free fall. We're going to have a nice little conversation about some interesting things, basically related to quarterbacks on this show. A lot of quarterback changeover, a lot of controversy, a lot of questions on what quarterbacks are going to be with your favorite team next year. So we're going. Oh, before we do that though, we are going to have to start off with a little J.J. Watt information. As you all know, J.J. Watt and the Texans have mutually agreed to part ways. And we were sitting here trying to debate, what may be a good landing spot for him. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's in the twilight of his years, but he still has some, fuel in the tank, to make a run. I don't necessarily see him as a, consistent starter, but, putting him in there, 3 or 4, 30 plays a game, keep him fresh. I think he could, do some things for a defense. So, Mark, what do you think is a good place for J.J. Watt to go to hopefully get a ring and to be productive?
Get a ring.
The biggest team that stands out to me is, and they showed it in the playoffs, that they suffer from a pass rush, and that was the Green Bay Packers. Just depending on what kind of contract they can sign them under, but I think Green Bay will be an ideal landing spot for him. A second one would probably be Buffalo. Buffalo will be a second choice. I think would be pretty interesting. And like the third choice would be Deshaun. I mean, not Deshaun. I'm sorry. What's the wide receiver? Hopkins. Put out a tweet down in Arizona about them finishing up together, finishing their job. So Arizona's another possibility. So I think either one of those teams, man, I think he can flourish and be, come in. He don't have to be an every down player, but at least coming in and add a little spark to the pass rush. And I think it would improve all those defenses all the way around.
Yeah, I like those choices that you had there, Mark. Me personally, I would like to see him go to Kansas City. Kansas City, of course, is, one of the favorites to be in the playoffs. They can definitely use more pass rushers. Not that they don't have enough, but, you saw in the Super Bowl, that Brady was kind of cutting them up and getting the ball off. I think they only got one sack on him in the Super Bowl or a pressure. So he could definitely be there. I think it would benefit him. I don't know if they have cap space right now, but I'd like to see him in Kansas City. Herman, what did you like?
Well, the first instinct I thought was Pittsburgh, just because his brothers was there. But I don't know. Pittsburgh might be a little cap strapped. We'll talk about them a little bit later with their quarterback situation. But I came up with Green Bay, like Mark said, hometown team. They definitely could use his defensive presence, and they are always a contender. The one thing is he's got to go to a contender. If he really wants a ring, he's got to go to a contender. So, hey, Green Bay, possibly Tennessee. Maybe he could go stick it to Houston. twice a year. Get him back a little bit for not giving him a ring, and maybe the Colts. Maybe the Colts. The Colts was in the playoffs, and again, he could stick it to Houston again at the Colts, but they could use them, and they got they may have their quarterback now. So those are the three. Those are the three. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that Tennessee one, Herman. I like that Tennessee one. That does make a lot of sense, especially with Vrabel as a defensive minded head coach.
Yeah, and Big E. The reason I said no to Dallas is because he needs a ring.
Yeah, and we've done the old guy. We need young, fresh people in the line right now.
Yeah, but those are sleeper teams, kind of. I think not the what you would expect them to go. And no way he's going to Tampa. They got enough defense.
But that would be awesome right there.
I guess it can't
that
hurt,
would be awesome right there, especially because of what's the defensive end that wants all the money? Barrett. So
if they lose Barrett, that's a possibility. Then if you think about that one.
If he really, that's probably the closest he can get to guaranteeing a ring at this point, because hell, Tom Brady just is a Super Bowl magnet at this point. So that's very interesting. Yeah. Let's see.
Marcus, did we steal your thunder, or do you have another team?
I mean, that's the problem going last. I pretty much said all the freaking teams, but I mean, in the rundown, you didn't say that definitely Super Bowl was a criteria. But if we talking about definitely trying to get a ring, with obviously Tampa Bay, Kansas City, probably the Colts.
He didn't say that in the thing. I just said that, in my opinion, he has to be going for a ring at this point. If not, he could have stayed in Houston.
Well, if he's going for a ring, then Tampa Bay, Kansas City, the Colts, like you said, Tennessee. I really think the Chargers will probably be in the playoffs this year. So maybe the Chargers, like you said, for sentimental value, it would be good to see him playing in Pittsburgh with his two brothers. I think that probably be the first time three brothers were on the team at the same time. So I would say what you guys have pretty much already mentioned. But it's probably his best shot if he wants a ring is probably obviously Tampa Bay or Kansas City.
Yeah, the thing with the Pittsburgh, I heard a conversation, or I thought that they were saying that he likes to play. They like to play against each other. They like
the two brothers.
Yeah, they like to. It's like a friendly competition between the two. And do they play on the same side or no?
No, one's a fullback. And
no. We talking about Jay. You talking about
JJ?
Well, JJ basically JJ freelanced on the defensive line a lot. So you can work it out with him, but the Pittsburgh problem is they got to figure out what they want to do with Bud Dupree, and he's going to come with a large price tag. So I think everything's going to start happening after that. So we'll see.
You think he'll sign before free agency, or you think he'll wait till the frenzy starts?
You talk who? JJ?
Yeah, because it's probably smarter to wait. Because as people start to move around, people may get a little more desperate, pay a little more money.
That is true.
That's a possibility.
My hunch is he'll probably sign before, but it would make him more beneficial. It would be more beneficial to him. Depending on what if you're going to get a home, get acclimated, and you want to get there as soon as possible. I don't think money is a big motivator for him. I think he's made enough money.
Yeah, that's true. But it's like you said, like let's say that the Tampa DN, what would you say his name was? Barrett, yeah. Let's say Tampa loses him, and then Tampa pushes hard for JJ. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah.
So that's why, like, if I'm him, I would probably wait till free agency started.
Yeah.
I might visit some places now, and especially if you got a couple of teams suiting you. Visit some places, get your interest up. So people might start to get a little antsy the more you visit. But then when people start really moving around, that's when you might get. I mean, because he loves the game, but he still loves the money too.
Well, I don't know how well he knows Tom Brady. If him and Tom Brady are close at all, but all would take Tom Brady like, I want JJ Watt.
Pretty much, you're right.
He'll be on his team.
He right.
Hey, somebody we didn't think about. New Orleans.
You think New Orleans gonna be a good time? Is Brady coming back?
I don't know, but
it's still in the air.
He
they won the division.
He restructured his contract so that it'll be easier for them to let him retire. So all signs right now are that he's going to retire.
But you got to throw that out there. I mean, they won the division, and they were in the playoffs. Was Breeze really the reason they were in the playoffs? Or
he didn't hurt. I mean,
he didn't hurt, but it's not necessarily that he carried.
He hurt them in the playoffs. He did hurt them in the playoffs.
So,
all right. So the next conversation we want to talk about is one of the bigger stories of the NFL after season, or what do we call it? Off season. Off season. Carson Wentz was traded to the Colts for a 2021 third-round pick and a 2022 conditional second-round pick that could become a first-round pick. The question is, if Wentz's playing time is at or above 75%, the pick becomes a first-rounder, or if he's playing at least 70% and the Colts go to the playoffs. So, who got the better of this deal, the Colts or the Eagles? We'll start off this one with Herman.
So looking at this deal, in my opinion, I feel like the Colts got the best end of the deal because they got a first-round draft pick, and Carson Wentz has proven he's a starter in the league. And they got that for a third-round pick and a conditional second. And the reason I say that they got the better of the deal is because it's a cheap way to kick the tires. And Wentz obviously had his best years with the current Colts head coach, Wright. So I'm sure he's expecting that he can get him back to the form that he was in. Secondly is if they do get to the playoffs and Wentz, does meet these playing percentages, depending on how far they go in the playoffs, that first round pick's not going to be a high pick anyway. So I think and you compare that to what was given up for Stafford, and the Colts got, the dollar store deal, but they could possibly have a better quarterback that lasts a lot longer in his career. So I feel like the Colts definitely got the best of it. I mean, I don't know what the Eagles are really doing right now. They're just turning into a dumpster fire. They're just, I guess they're just trying to get below the cap. They're cutting players, and they don't know what they're doing at quarterback. If they're going to draft a quarterback, if they're going with Hurts. So, all in all, to me, I think the Colts got the better of the deal.
Yeah, you mentioned them trying to save the cap, but they set a record for the largest cap hit for a player when it comes to Wentz, just to get rid of him. In my opinion, it seemed like they were in a rock and a hard place. The Colts were really the only team willing to give them something. In normal reality, I think Wentz should have got a 1, and I think Wentz definitely should have got at least a 1 and maybe a 2. I think he was that talented. Now, it depends on which Wentz we're getting. Are we getting the Wentz from last year, or are we getting the Wentz from 2017? Right. If the Wentz that we get from 2017, then absolutely, you're right. The Colts got a steal. They got the deal of the century. Now, if we get this soft, questionable, worry, concerned Wentz of last year, then, you might have just, gave away these picks for, a quarterback that's not going to help your team progress. So there's a lot of hope and a lot of anticipation that, Carson will be the Carson of old just because he's with his old head coach, but there's no guarantees. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was going on in the Eagles when he was with the Eagles, background, not getting along with players, just being so soft, and to be the team leader, you got to be a harder, you got to deal with it. And, maybe the Eagles media was too hard on him, maybe being in Indianapolis will help him, progress a little better too. But, on its face, I think that the Colts got a much better deal, and I think that Philadelphia was just in a rock and a hard place and had to move him because I don't think he wanted to play there or was going to be successful there. And he was also going to cause problems when it came with the quarterback they have now and possibly the quarterback for the future.
So real quick, last year, Carson Wentz was sacked 50 times. Season before that, he was sacked 37 times. Season before that, he was sacked. Sorry, I'm just looking these up. I should have pulled them because I wanted to see. I can't even see
It's called research.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think about it beforehand. Shut up.
Glass house.
Right. Anyway, the last two seasons, he was sacked a total of 87 times. I mean, what? And let me see. And the year before that, 31 times. What do you expect to get from your quarterback if he's being sacked so much?
To a point, but you watch those games too, Herman. He held the ball way too long. He was trying to play hero ball almost all of last year. Yeah, but there's some point in the game where the play is over. Get rid of the ball. Don't take a hit.
That's like every play with the receivers that they have.
But I mean, so what helps you more? You throw the ball away or you take the sack?
You throw the ball away.
Right.
But my point is this. You can't expect a quarterback to be good if you don't protect him.
Right.
Anywhere in the NFL. A lot of people want to debate on whether Carson Wentz is that good or whatever. But then they turn around and they say that Dallas is being stupid because they're not paying Dak, blah, 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 blah. But when you look at their numbers, while Dak has better numbers, their numbers are close. So they're not far apart as quarterback-wise. So, and you know I'm not saying that Wentz is better than Dak, but what I'm saying is that if you look at the two quarterbacks, you can't sit up there and say that Wentz is this terrible trash quarterback, but then turn right back around and say Dak deserves $40 million a year. You should pay him when they're almost the same quarterback. They're very close. So that's why I think that with the Colts, he's gonna be protected, and you're gonna see a different Wentz. I just believe that they're Wentz is not the quarterback that everybody's trying to make him out to be, or the bad quarterback that everybody's trying to make him out to be, I should say.
Yeah, I don't think he's as bad as he's shown, but I do think that all last year we talked about it. I mean, he just was holding the ball. There's a play, there's a receiver. You read him. If it's not there, you got to throw that ball away. You got to have that clock in your back of your head. It seemed like Wentz had forgot all about that clock, and he was trying to make a play on every play, and you just can't do that and then expect your offensive line to protect you. Not that they didn't suck, because they did suck. Even Hurts was out there running for his life. But at a certain point, you got to realize the play is over. I'm not going to get anything accomplished. Let me get this ball out of my hand. So if he gets that lesson back down, then he should be fine. Marcus, you're very quiet. You ain't got nothing to say on the situation.
I mean, I'm waiting. Y'all was dominating the conversation. I'm trying to wait.
You trying to wait for your turn.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your turn, Marcus.
Okay, so I believe the Colts definitely got the best part of this trade. No matter how it turns out, if you ask me, Wentz he'll match whatever Phillip Rivers did this past season, I believe. They'll definitely make the playoffs, and just the Eagles are trash right now. I mean, I just find it hard to believe how far they've fallen in that quick time. Even though it's probably not. I think a lot of probably Super Bowl teams have usually fallen off that quick, but never when. That's usually after their starting quarterback like retired the next season or something like that. But for them to be 4 years away from the Super Bowl, it just seemed like the wheels have fallen off the car. And like I said before, I don't see what the point of getting rid of the coach was if you're going to turn around and get rid of the quarterback. You could have just kept one. And if you needed to get rid of Wentz, you probably should have just kept Peterson. Peterson probably would have been he probably would have had a better record with a different quarterback. And as far as who has a better chance of making the playoffs, the Colts or the Eagles? It's the Colts.
Yeah, hands down.
And that's not. I don't think the Eagles are going to do anything next season.
It may be worse than the Giants at this point.
Yeah,
I would say so. They probably are.
Right. Yeah.
They probably are.
Yeah.
Because I think the Eagles heads up. I think they had their issue with not Jeff Lurie, the head coach that they just released. Peterson. There was an issue, apparently. Peterson wanted more control, and they didn't want to give away that control. So they decided, okay, we're not going to make away with our head coach, so we're going to save Carson. What they didn't know was Carson didn't want to be saved. Carson wanted to go too. So then they were really in trouble now. So that's why there's such a dumpster fire. They put their eggs in the quarterback and let the coach go because they didn't want to give him the power he wanted. And then the quarterback doesn't want to play for you either. So now we got to get rid of him. We got to get whatever we can to hopefully rebuild in the future. But even the head coach, and hire was questionable, but we'll see how that plays out. All right, Mr. Parker, let's hear what you guys say.
Yeah, on this one, I think initially you gotta measure the thing out. I guess in a number of 3 to 5 years, really. I think initially the first couple of years, I think the Colts can come out on top. Yes, I think they're more playoff ready or make the playoff a lot sooner than what the Eagles do. But putting Wentz back in a place where he's familiar with the coach, they got one of the best offensive line. They got a young running game. They got some young stud wide receivers. It really ain't much he got to do. If he plays like the Wentz did in the past, he gonna do anything but get better.
Like 2017 Wentz.
Exactly.
2017 Wentz hurt himself. So,
well, that was late in the season, though.
But before he hurt himself,
is
what they want to see.
But y'all remember that used to be the narrative. He's good, but he keeps hurting himself.
Right. Yeah. But like from Eagles' perspective, their last couple of draft choices and choices on players that they've chosen haven't been great. So even though you get these draft choices to choose. It's gonna be they're gonna be judged on who they select and who makes a positive impact on this team for them. Without that, the coach is gonna look like winners on it. They will. But I think after 5 years is really you want to really judge the measuring stick on who got the better deal out of this. But for right now, I think the coach have the upper hand right now.
Do you think that Hurts was a bad choice?
No, not at all. No, not at all. Okay. For the situation. The money, everything. No, I think it was a perfect situation for both the coach and for Wentz. To be honest with you, so no, I don't think that's the case.
I think it was a bad choice.
You think they should have
team or for the team?
You mean when they drafted him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a bad choice for the Eagles to draft Hurts. In a draft when you had. They could have drafted any position besides that. That was almost like a message Peterson may have been sending, possible.
You think that was Peterson's call?
Looking at it from this point, maybe, because I don't know if Lurie fired Peterson and then we wanted to save Wentz, why would you even have bothered to try to save Wentz? You think that the relationship between Lurie and Peterson was just so bad that they just gave up on it?
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem. It seemed more like Peterson wanted more power. So I was just curious if he really was involved in who they were drafting. How much say he had in that.
I mean, look at it from this point. If you're the GM for a team. You just paid your starting quarterback all that money, and granted he got hurt, but would you draft a quarterback?
I wouldn't.
Right. I'm drafting a lineman, a receiver. I'm drafting something that's going to help that quarterback. So, we could look at it from the beginning from there is when the dumpster fire actually started. When you think about it,
that's true.
Because that move, it made no sense to anybody when they did it.
And it caused a rift in the team.
Exactly. Now you see how it played out. It just started rolling that dumpster fire downhill.
Well, a big mistake they made was after winning that Super Bowl. I don't know how you build a statue to Nick Foles. Calm down. You won your first Super Bowl.
First. Nick gets a statue.
It was the Eagles. That's what they.
But that's okay. So a backup quarterback who then left town. Was it 2 seasons later? Come on. And you got your start. You drafted Wentz to be your franchise quarterback. That's just bad.
So Marcus, if Heineke takes the Washington football team to Super Bowl and win one, you don't think he should deserve to get a statue?
First of all, we got 3 already. Ain't nobody else got no statue out there.
Yeah,
so I don't know why.
Yeah, I agree. It's a different situation. The Eagles was dying. That was my biggest thing with the Eagles. How many Super Bowl rings you got? That was. I can shut the Eagles fan up just like that. With just that comment. So once they got one, man, you had to give it to them.
Think about this. Suppose you married or you got a girlfriend and you got a kid by another woman or ex-wife or whatever. And you got a statue of your ex, because it's your first kid. I got to put a statue up.
Yeah, but that's different. That's different. That's not. That's not.
Statue of my baby mama in the.
No, Marcus. That's like trying like 10 times and never getting a kid. Then all of a sudden you meet this baby mama. Then she gives you a kid. Then you put the statue up of her.
I don't think your current wife is going to appreciate that, no matter how many times.
Nah, the current wife or future girlfriend or whoever ain't gonna go for that one too much.
Yeah, that was a bad move. But I mean, it went in the Hall of Fame too. He went in the Hall of Fame, or at least that stuff goes down in the Hall of Fame as the first quarterback to take the Eagles to win a Super Bowl with the Eagles.
Yep.
It's Nick Foles now, so maybe I mean, who knows? But I guess it shows you that it's been a lot more problems going on than what we've seen, and it's really come to the forefront now. So ugly.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad for Eagles fans, but I have no sympathy for you one bit.
Yeah, none at all.
Die, Eagles, die. All right, we're going to go on, and we're going to talk a little more about a green team, the Gang Green, the Jets, Jets. There's been a lot of rumors, a lot of innuendo, a lot of stuff going on that the Jets should trade Sam Darnold to try to get more draft picks and get another quarterback. They feel like they may be done with Sam Darnold. What do you guys think? Should the Jets get rid of Sam Darnold? And if so, who is the best fit for them? The best fit for Sam Darnold, I should say. Marcus, since you upset, we'll start with you.
I'm kind of disappointed you did, because I got the least to say about this one. Should the Jets trade Sam Darnold? To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't believe Sam Darnold was the problem. I mean, in the Jets organization. I mean, first of all, it's the Jets, and second of all, it was Adam Gase. So I mean, I would. It depends on what they're looking to get, what they're looking to do. Before you try to get another quarterback, do your research and find out who that quarterback is going to be. They're obviously not going to get Trevor Lawrence or I don't believe Justin Fields either. What is their draft pick? Do we know?
They're two.
They can
Yeah,
I guess they could get Justin Fields. Then.
Yeah. But Wichita's going to go before Fields. Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to go before Fields. Most likely.
They got number two?
Yeah.
I guess I would trade him. I would trade him and kick the wheels with Zach Wilson and see what happens. I mean, like I said, I don't think Darnold was the problem at all. Like I said, first of all, it's the Jets. Second of all, it's Adam Gase. But if anybody can, I think, get Sam Darnold and the whole team on track, it's probably the what's his name, Solid. He's probably him. Yeah, it's probably him. I think we can see a turnaround with them. Hopefully, he can be somebody coming in and turn that organization around, because obviously Gase wasn't it, and they just had a bad string of bad luck. So, I mean, it all depends on which direction you want to go. I mean, you got a number 2 pick. You can obviously get a top-ranking quarterback. But do you feel like you really need that? Do you feel like Sam Darnold got a fair evaluation in the Jets? And I don't really think he did. I mean, even though it is hard to live down that was it 2 years ago when they played the Patriots and he was like, I see ghosts.
Yeah.
So I would say yes. It depends, like I said, it depends on what Saleh wants to do. But I would say trade him, but I definitely don't believe Sam Darnold was a problem. Let's not front like Sam Darnold was a problem with the Jets, because he wasn't at all.
Mark, was Sam Darnold the problem with the Jets?
No, he was not the problem with the Jets. The Jets were the problem. That's what it was. This one, I'm kind of gonna go off the grid on this one, y'all. I think Sam Darnold best fit would probably be, and here it is, the Jets trading him to Tampa Bay, and he takes over when Tom Brady retires down in Tampa Bay. It'll be a perfect match for him. Perfect.
So he sits for a year, and
he sits behind Tom Brady and becomes the heir apparent to the Bucs team, that offense.
What is he in his third year?
What's that?
This is his third year or fourth?
It's still a rookie contract.
Yeah, he
that,
got drafted when Baker got drafted, right? Didn't he? Wasn't he in that draft?
So then this is. I'll look it up. Keep talking.
Yeah, but yeah, and the Jets drafting the second quarterback that's going to be available, whoever that between Fields, because we know Lawrence is going first, and that'll be the Jets will be taking that number 2 pick with the quarterback for trading Sam Darnold to Tampa, and he'll be set for after Brady retires.
Yeah, I looked up. He did 2018, the same year as Baker. He was number 3 pick. He was the number.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah,
he was the number 3 pick. So that's just crazy. The Jets, they just had a number 3. They always got a high draft picks.
No, Sam is not gonna go. How can Sam go to the Patriots? He go to the Patriots when he was just telling them he was scared of the Patriots, but he kept seeing ghosts. That would be crazy.
You never know, though. I never even thought about that.
I don't see him with the Patriots, though. I don't think
Belichick has that time or the patience. He in order to get from underneath Tom Brady's shadow, he needs to make some serious moves in quarterback position. And
but you would get him for cheap.
Oh, yeah.
Darnold ain't it though. I just said Darnold wasn't a problem, but I don't think he's not it.
I know there are a lot
especially since Belichick doesn't have he's terrible at drafting skill positions. So you go send him to a team, he got no skill position players. He's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback that can carry that.
They are barren on the offensive side. That is true.
Yeah, that's because they've always relied on Brady. I mean, now he realizes that he can't get away with that. I'm sure that he's going to, he's going to make an adjustment. So, I don't know. Can I go? Can I?
Yes, you may.
Yeah. Yes.
First of all, yes, you definitely. If I'm Robert Saul, is that how you say his name?
Salah.
And we talk about this all the time. Coaches want to be married to their quarterbacks.
Exactly.
So Sam Darnold definitely gets traded, and you can get a second rounder, maybe a second and a fourth for Darnold. And I think it'll be best for Darnold. He needs to get away from the Jets. He needs a fresh start. So anywhere he can get a fresh start for him will probably be a best fit. But I came up with 3 teams, and I'll give you just my thinking. Atlanta, because Atlanta doesn't know what they're doing with Matt Ryan. You might have another year or 2 out of Matt Ryan. You could have Darnold sit behind Matt Ryan and learn. Possibly come in as a starter, after Ryan leaves or retires. You might have a starting quarterback. New Orleans.
I knew he was going to say that.
Might as well bring in somebody who can compete, for that number 1 slot. And again, quarterbacks change depending on the coach. And you got Sean Payton, one of the best offensive-minded coaches in the league. Him with a young quarterback would be interesting. And then third, and this is just, again, they got a quarterback that's getting up there in age. They just brought one in. Why not bring in another young quarterback? That one team, yep. That team with the one helmet, with the one symbol on his helmet.
Herman, you know what? I would stand on the desk. I would shout out loud to get Sam Darnold if we could. The fact that they got Haskins, and now that they've done what they did, I don't see it happening. But I would have loved to have Sam Darnold. I would have loved to have him.
I probably would have definitely went after Darnold probably
more
before
than
Haskins.
Haskins.
Just because of what happens. But if you can get Darnold on the cheap, why not? You didn't pay anything for Haskins. You're getting probably 1 more year out of Ben. Why not have 2 former first-round draft picks competing to be your starting quarterback?
Going back to that, they still believe in Mason Rudolph for some reason. That's why I don't see it happening.
That is true.
That's why I don't see it happening.
Get off
they
that.
Still believe in him.
Who believes that? I know Tommy don't believe that. Come on.
But I like it. But I like Sam Darnold though.
Those were my 3. I thought those would be some interesting spots.
Yeah, I was thinking about it too. I was trying to think about it more of where he would go and he would be a starter. I didn't really think about as a backup or to try to learn. So the team that I thought would be the best fit, for him to go to would be the Carolina Panthers. They are apparently tired of Teddy Bridgewater. They have a coach, a former college coach. So I thought that, maybe it would be a good fit for him where he would actually get a good chance to possibly start. They have a good running game, so it wouldn't be all on him. They have a good receiving core. And their defense was okay. I mean, it does need some work. If I didn't say that, I do agree with you guys. I do think that the Jets, if they have the opportunity, I would trade him. I don't think Sam is that bad. There are a lot of NFL, people in the NFL that felt like Darnold, did get a bad rap just because of, Gase, and his offense. I mean, look how the quarterback for the Titans?
Tannehill.
And look how he's flourishing now under a different regime. The other team that I thought might be a good fit for him was the Raiders. There's an issue with Chucky again, not really caring for David Carr. So he likes those big arm quarterbacks that can go downfield. So I liked your Tampa Bay thing, Herman, too, because I think he could get risk it in the business.
That was Mark.
Excuse me.
That was Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I like the Tampa Bay. I like the risk it in the biscuit thing too. But and I just didn't think about it because Tom was there, so I just didn't. I was going more for a starter. But I like it. I like him at the Panthers, and I would actually like him with the Raiders.
Speaking of which, the Raiders.
The Raiders. That's on you, Brian. That's cute. Go.
Brian's like, I got the show. Don't tell me how to go through the rundown.
No, it was good. It was good. I just lost my page. But Mark set me up beautifully, and I fumbled that joint right there on the goal line. All right, so with the Raiders, like we were saying, will the Raiders lose Carr and Mariota this season? A lot of rumors are going around that, again, Chucky's not happy with him. There are actually a couple of teams that are inquiring about Mariota. Last season, Mariota got in for one of the games and played very well and may have renewed his career. And we all know that Chucky's never happy with his quarterback. So do you think that Carr may go? There were rumors he may be traveling to the capital, Washington, possibly. Marcus, you're not excited about it.
I'd be happy with Carr. I'd be happy. I would be happy with Carr. I mean, the thing is, I don't know. It just seems like Chucky isn't never happy with a quarterback. I mean, he won a Super Bowl with Red Johnson. I mean, why just?
And he wasn't happy with him.
Yeah. I mean, just I personally don't see what the Carr was like a MVP candidate like a couple seasons ago, and the Raider games I saw this season, he played pretty well. I don't see what the problem is with Carr. He's still a young guy. I mean, unless you're going to go out there and get a veteran quarterback who who can change the whole thing around, like a Tom Brady or like Aaron Rodgers, a proven veteran NFL quarterback. I think you should focus on other aspects of your team. I don't think Carr is the problem. Focus on other aspects of your team and get that right. Otherwise, he's going to become a dude who just hates all his quarterbacks and gets all of them, and then never wins the Super Bowl because you're just always not happy with your quarterback. As far as Mariota, I think he did revive his career in that one game. They didn't win it, but he looked very good. If teams are looking to get him, I think they should definitely trade him and see what they can get for him. Is it would he be traded or is his contract up? Is he a free
Mariota?
Yeah, Mariota.
I'm not sure what his contract numbers look like.
I think the biggest thing is this: if the Raiders were to basically let him go, it would be like $10 million against to clear their cap room.
So Carr? Is that Cargo?
Carr. No.
Okay.
Mariota.
Okay.
So
he signed for 2 years.
Backup quarterback. Good grief.
Yeah. Yes.
He signed 2 years.
So So think about this. Do you want to have that? You're paying him like a starting quarterback on the backup role, and he's not starting. So you're gonna have to find something to do with it. My scenario is kind of this. I think you'll see a trade for Mariota, possibly to the Patriots.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that. That's interesting.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
But right before we went on the air, y'all, I was trying to find the tweet again. I saw a tweet that said that Carr was close to signing an extension with the Raiders.
Okay.
So I don't know. I've seen at least two things about them talking about a contract extension. And the last thing I saw right before we went on the air was they were actually getting close. So,
and you look at compare Carr to the beginning of the season and to the end. He played more what John Gruden wanted him to play like. He took on John Gruden's identity towards the end of that season. So I think going forward, I think the Raiders should stick with Carr and possibly see what they can get for Mariota, which they can still get.
And they could probably get. Maybe you might get a team a little desperate. They might get a third for Mariota or something, just off of that game he came in for Carr. And remember, we were talking about it during the game. We were like, "Whoa, where did this come from?" Mariota looked real good. So you get a team that might get a little desperate. They might be willing to give up a 3. I mean, like the Patriots, I could see them giving up 3. I could see Washington giving up 3.
I tell you another one you might can throw in the mix too, and that's San Francisco.
They just did a report. They said Garoppolo is their starter.
They're gonna hang on to Garoppolo.
I'm surprised to hear that.
Lynch came out and said that he's their future. Now they did say real quick. They did say though that they would definitely be looking at his backups because they wanted to have a more quality backup just in case.
Now that's one free agent that they signed and they have not gotten their money's worth out of.
Who, Garoppolo?
Garoppolo.
He's been injured most of the time. He's been injured.
He did get him to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but other names been injured most of the time.
And comparing to the quarterback market now, they playing a bargain.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, really, San Francisco should try to get Deshaun. I mean, he was under Shanahan's offense. Man, Deshaun Watson, he would be amazing.
Got to give up a lot to get him.
Yeah. What about Mariota to Chicago?
That's interesting too. Chicago definitely has to do something. I mean, they made it to the playoffs with no.
They backed into the playoffs though.
I don't care. They were in the playoffs with no quarterback.
They backed
with no quarterback though, Marcus. No quarterback, bro. They get a quarterback.
One of the better wide receivers in the league.
Yeah, and they have a defense.
Yeah, that's true. They do have a defense.
So
they didn't really have a running game last season.
Yeah, they do need to get their running game, but. I mean, you ain't got to respect the run game if you don't have a quarterback.
That is true.
So you can fill the box, yeah.
All right, so speaking of quarterbacks that didn't do as well as we would have liked, Cam Newton. He was actually in the news this week. Apparently, not only the NFL team disrespect him, but little kids in his camp are pretty disrespectful.
Teenagers, man.
But what do you guys?
How you gonna be in somebody's camp and you disrespecting their camp, them at their camp? That's like something that happened to Carson Wentz. That can't be.
But kudos to Cam. I think he handled it very well. He handled it well.
Because I would have kicked him out. I would have kicked him out too.
Me too.
I would have kicked him out
too. I said, look, I'm broke. I tell you what, you start walking out here since I'm broke. I'm broke. You keep walking.
Well, why don't you look down at that shirt you're wearing to see who name on it? That shirt that was given to you. So what do you guys think? Will Cam get another starting job? And if it's not with the Patriots, what are the Patriots going to do with their starting quarterback situation? What do you think, Mark?
Oh man, Cam is such an unusual situation because you've got to, first of all, you got to find a team that's going to fit with his style. I'm having a tough time with Cam. You talking about trying to put a a square into a peg or something that don't fit. Cam don't fit a lot of the offenses, man. I don't know. Out of the teams that we talked about, that you talk about in your service, maybe Chicago, maybe. But and I touched a little bit on what I thought Patriots would do. I can see Patriots going for Mariota, of course, or possibly trading back and getting Jimmy G again. That's another possibility that they may kick the tires on him again. But Cam, I guess the question is, will he get a starting job? Yeah, I think he can. I think he's capable of doing it. But it's just finding the right situation, the right offense that you think he can do well in. I just like to say, I just don't see a whole handful of teams that fits his type of style, the way he's playing right now. And he needs point blank. He needs some weapons. He needs talent around him. He needs a good offensive line. He needs a running game. That's the key.
Yeah, he was on a show, a podcast, and he had said that there is not 32 other quarterbacks in the league better than him. He said he's not 32. So he still has the confidence. He still thinks that he can play. From what I saw last year, I question that. I truly question that. I think the Patriots went out of their way to try to make Cam as successful as he could be, and it just did not involve. I mean, I can't remember. I know he rushed for more touchdowns than he threw last year, which is a sad state of affairs when it comes to a quarterback that was in the Super Bowl, a quarterback that won the most valuable player. It's hard to see where he could go. I mean, and this is the other question I want to ask you too, real quick, Mark. You think it's a big difference between Mariota and Cam's game? Mariota
is still young.
Just their game, the way that they play. I mean, they're both big boys who can run, and how good are they? Mariota's tall. Mariota's big.
He's not big like Cam, but he's not.
Well, but you know what? I think Mariota is more accurate than Cam.
Okay, I could agree with that. I think he's more. He can.
I think that's what makes a difference. If you're not forcing Cam to throw, he's all right. But if you force him to throw, he's not as accurate. Not now. So yeah, I'll take Mariota.
Yeah, it just seems like it's going to be a tough road for Cam to get a starting job. I can possibly see him as a backup somewhere, but I just don't. I can't really think of a team that would be that.
That's why I said Chicago. They backed in. I'll
be honest with you. I think I would rather have Trubisky.
Really?
I mean, Cam honestly is not that big of a step up than Trubisky at this point in his career.
So, and Trubisky's younger.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're moving on from Trubisky, why are you moving on to almost the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I disagree with that statement. How are they the same thing?
Because look at what Cam actually, if you look at it, Trubisky had a better year than Cam did last year.
He did. Trubisky did.
I would do attribute that to the Cam, when you attribute that to no skilled players in New England.
That is very true.
I mean, Tom Brady had the lead. I mean, come on. I mean,
but it's still New England. It's still it was still one of the winningest franchises.
What 11 players opt out because of COVID? And then, like I said, no skilled players at all. And how many games did Edelman play? I don't even think Edelman was the best.
He only played like 3, maybe 4. He got hurt.
Went out early.
A lot of them players that opted out was on the defense. I don't think Cam I don't think Cam will be brought in as a starter anywhere. He may be due to injury, but he won't be brought in as a starter. He may be brought in to compete. If I was running an NFL team, I would probably kick the tires on other quarterbacks before I would kick the tires on Cam. I would go after Mariota before I went after Cam. One team that may look at him, WTF team.
I was going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
WTF team. I mean, and only because of the familiarity
with the head coach.
Yeah. But
he had his most success under the WTF coach.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. I really can't think of another team.
Huh?
WTF.
What are we saying?
You know what the hell you're saying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's about the only place that that is right, Herman. I mean, because he has no familiarity with anybody else, really.
And from what he put on tape last year,
yeah,
I'm not first in line.
But Marcus does bring up a good point. He really didn't have. I mean, who was his starting tight end? Who was his starting wide receivers? I can't even remember.
He had no real skill position players.
Running backs were, they were always a running back with the committee.
Yeah, none at all. I mean, I think you guys are right. I don't think I think Herman hit it on the nail. I don't think he gets a starting job. I don't think he gets signed before the season starts. I think he gets signed once some injuries start happening, and then they bring him in. Which is the same, like you said. He was an MVP. 2015, 6 years ago, and in the Super Bowl, and it's just it's just sad the way it happened. But yeah, I don't think he gets signed until the injuries start happening. I think it definitely gets signed once the injuries start happening. Somebody's quarterback is going to go out.
I think too what Big E said. Cam was never developed. I always go back to that when he was with the Panthers. He was never developed, and now that athleticism, is starting to, it's going away with age. It just does, and injuries and all that. And I keep going back to this, but I feel like what we're seeing in Baltimore is like a duplicate of what you've seen Cam go through.
No. Go back to Atlanta with Vic.
Vic too, but Vic got Vic got better when he went to the Eagles.
When Vic left, he became a better passer for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he got that's because he went to jail. Vic would have kept doing what Vic was doing in Atlanta if he didn't go to jail.
Yeah. I think you're looking at the same thing with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore right now. Exactly.
That's if they don't. Well, they're going to keep the damn offensive coordinator.
Exactly. And so if they don't change the coach and they don't change the offensive coordinator, unless he makes a drastic 360, that's what we're looking at.
Let's send Cam to the Jets.
For what? They need he's building. Yeah, he's building.
All right. So now we're going to get into some serious arguments going on real quick. This one should be fast. You want to skip it? Because we should all be in agreement on this one. But we'll let Mark and we'll let Marcus. Look at Marcus he's just drooling. Look at him. You can see a little drool right there.
He had to get to the part of the rundown first. He was scrolling the screen.
To see what it was. That's what it was. All right, you haters. Will Dak and the Cowboys get a deal done, or will he get tagged again? I'm gonna tell you right now, we're going to get a deal done.
I'm sorry, who is we? You remember the
Cowboys? We are the Dallas Cowboys. We are America's team. We are the best. We live in Texas. Really? Everything is brand. But they will get it done. I think the clock is ticking on Jerry. Jerry's old. He needs to get some stuff done. He wants to see one more Super Bowl before he's on the other side of the dirt. And just farting around with Dak, we just need to just bite the bullet and get it over with. Okay, Dak's not going to sign a 5-year deal. Let's get this 4-year deal done and just work around whatever we got to work around. We've made some bad decisions recently on signing people that we probably shouldn't have signed, and Dak is one that we definitely need to sign. So, I mean, you saw how bad the team was when he left. Not that it was doing very well when he was there, but he puts up the numbers. So it's a no-brainer to me. Dak will get signed. He'll get signed to a long-term contract under his things because the Cowboys are in a rock and a hard place right now. They need to get him signed, and Jerry needs to see another Super Bowl. Mark.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Brian. I think they will re-sign him and not sign him to another franchise tag. Hey, has there ever been? Can you take money from somebody you'd already given? Can you get the money back from Ezekiel and ship it over to the other side? You can't do that.
That's what they need to do. Ask the Eagles and ask the Rams. That's what
they need to do. But Jerry Jones is. I mean, he plays a lot on your emotions with this. I think the before it's all said and done, I think he's going to have to make the deal, no question, without not making him a tag. And I think he will do it. He just want to dangle that, carry it out, and have some fun with us for a while before he inked that deal. But he has to. So,
All right. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tight. Go ahead, Marcus.
I mean, for me, will they sign him? I don't know, but I think it'd be a mistake not to sign him. I mean, I don't know what's going on in Texas, but the Houston Texans dumpster fire. They can't keep the power on in Texas, and now you want to add on to it by having another. If they don't sign Dak, Dallas is basically dumpster fire. I just don't see why you wouldn't do it. I mean, it's obvious to anybody that's watching that Dak is a franchise quarterback, and that he can get the job. He can get the job done. Like Mark said, it seemed like they picked the wrong dude to pay. They should have paid Dak instead of paying Ezekiel Elliott, because it definitely hasn't lived up to what his salary is. I think they have to sign him. I don't think Dak is going to tolerate being tagged. I don't know what his options would be.
Sit out.
Really sit out.
I don't think he would do that. I don't
bargaining agreement.
I don't think Dak would do that. But if they do tag him again, you're going to have in the following season, you're going to have a Deshawn Watson situation on your hands. He's going to want out at that point.
Well, he's a free agent after that. There's no about it.
Well, because I mean, to me, that's ultimate disrespect. You got all these other quarterbacks out here getting paid, and Dak is definitely in that league. He's definitely a top 10, and if everything is going right for the Cowboys, he's a top 5, in my opinion, quarterback. We saw, even though he was losing those games, and people could say, "Oh, those were garbage yards and those were garbage points." He still was putting them up, and he was looking hella good doing it too. So I don't know why you wouldn't. He's a franchise quarterback. Given the opportunity, he will be a top 5 quarterback in this league. And like you said, Jerry, you don't have that much time. I don't see what the issue. I don't even see why this is even a conversation. Still a conversation. I just don't see it. Dak has proven himself. So sign him.
Mr. Triplet, the floor is yours.
So, of course, my answer is yes. The deal will get done. The reason the deal has not gotten done yet, everybody thinks it's Jerry. It's Steven. I'm serious. Steven Jones has kind of taken over the team. Jerry's just kind of a little bit the mouthpiece. A lot of the articles and stuff that I read, you hear about these things. And Steven's been kind of cheap lately. If you notice the last 3-4 years, if you notice the last 3 or 4 years,
you read that one.
Yeah. It's been cheap stuff. We haven't done that go all in. We've been playing around. We tagged Dak last year, and then we blamed that on why we didn't make any moves in free agency. Years before that, it was whatever. And they should have played chicken with Zeke. They definitely should have played chicken with Zeke, and they should have signed Dak and made Zeke wait. I think maybe Steven may have been ready to play that move until Jerry stepped in and said, "Get Zeke signed." And now it's going to take for Jerry to once again step in and say, "Steven, stop playing around and get Dak done." Dak will get done. I'm not worried about it. They're not going to tag him. If they tag him again this year, it's like y'all said, it's disrespectful. He's gone next year because you can't possibly tag him next year. And he won't re-sign with this team. As much as he loves Dallas and he wants to be there, he grew up a Cowboys fan, he wants to be a Cowboy for life, he won't re-sign with him, and there's no way he would. A lot of people are trying to blame Dak too, but what y'all got to understand is Dak is not really involved in these negotiations that much. He's letting his representatives get involved. Last year, right at the deadline, Dak jumped in, and they almost got the deal done, but they ran out of time. So once Dak got involved, things changed. So the deal will get done. It was close to getting done before. There's no reason it won't get done now. Dallas really doesn't have a choice. They have to get this deal done. And
another reason why they should go get the deal done. I mean, things might be looking up for the Washington football team, but overall, the NFC East is a complete dumpster fire right now. You got a chance to be the Patriots of the NFC East if you're Dallas.
At least a couple years. At least a couple years, we could dominate
There's no better time now.
Yeah.
For Dallas.
And if no other reason than that.
Yes, exactly.
If you sign Dak to a 4-year deal, you should be able to dominate the division for 4 years.
Yeah, you're pretty much a division winner for 4 years. So now is the time. While the rest of the division is dumpsterfied.
Wow, that went a lot smoother than I thought. I expected a little more fireworks out of that conversation. So let's go into a more serious conversation because we're running out of time. So we're going to jump one because we're going to get into this other one because I think this other one's going to be a little juicy. And then if we have a little bit of time, we'll come back to the other one. Benjamin Roethlisberger. It's like his name ain't even Benjamin, is it?
Wow.
Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers met and agreed that he will be back. Now they need to do work on a contract restructure. Do you guys think this is a good move for the Pittsburgh Steelers, or do you think that they should have moved on and let Ben retire? We're going to start with Herman on this one.
I don't like this move for the Steelers. We obviously can see that Ben is towards the end of his career. This year, with the amount of quarterback availability and the movement going on, they already have Haskins, to compete. And then again, like I said, bringing in Darnold, maybe 2 number ones competing for that spot. I think this is the time to make the move. Juju's probably not going to be back. So that's one less weapon for them, for Ben to have. Ben, he has to stay healthy. He stayed healthy last year. The elbow started to bother him some. I don't see that much changing about him staying healthy. I don't see the point, I guess, in keeping Ben for one more year with the availability of quarterbacks this year. I would probably make my move now. Not to mention you have to figure out a way to restructure his deal. And how much less is Ben willing to take? He's scheduled to make $40 million, I think. Is he going to cut that in half?
Well, only this year. Only this year it'd be $19 million. But
it's just $19 million this year.
For this year, yeah.
But he's at $40 million cap number, right?
His cap number, yeah, and what he's making are two different things.
Cap number, okay. Yeah, I guess what he's making is good, but that cap hit, I don't know if they fix that. I guess they can fix that with a restructure. I would move on.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to work on because, like you said, you can't have Ben taking up $42 million of your cap. And what did we say the new was 185, 195?
185 is the floor.
185 is the floor. So yeah, you can't have Ben taking up that much of your cap. Good deal, smart thing to do. Questionable. I wonder. I'm curious about Ben's health, like you were saying, Herman. Was last year, because for the most part, Ben had one of his more productive years this year. I mean, the Steelers obviously had no running game. Ben did get them to 11-0 before they ran into the Washington team. And Ben was getting the ball out faster this year than he ever did in his whole career. Did his elbow start bothering him in the playoffs? Who knows? Was it fatigue because of so much throwing? It's possible. Is it healed now to the point where he's healthy again and he's back to the old Ben? It's hard to say just because of his age. If his elbow was the issue last year near the end of the season why the team wasn't doing as well, then I think it is a good idea. I would try to run it back one more time with Ben. They definitely need to focus on their running game. I mean, you just can't have your quarterback throwing that many times every game over and over and over. The Pittsburgh Steelers are known for a running game, and they had nothing last year. They got a very good defense. Again, they made the playoffs. They won the division, didn't they? Did y'all? We all the division winners? Yes.
Yes, they won.
Yes,
because we had the home. I'm sorry, we had the home playoff game. So yeah, we won the division.
So yeah, I mean, with a season like that, I definitely would rather have been under Huddle than possibly Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins. So if they can get the numbers where they need to be, where they can sign some players and keep. And with Juju, I mean, Juju was never the number one. I mean, he's a good receiver, but he's never been the number one. And he didn't pick up the number one. They got Claypool now. They seem to get Washington. I mean, they got wide receivers, so I'm not really worried about Juju leaving. They just need to get a running game. Yeah, if they get their running game straight, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be fine.
Oh, real quick correction: the cap floor is 180, not 185.
Okay.
And Ben Roethlisberger was third in attempts last year with 608 attempts.
Yeah. See, that's just way too many for a quarterback that old.
Yeah.
Marcus.
I feel like if they can restructure, he takes a lower salary. The thing is, no, Brian, that's not it.
Would you stop?
That's not it at all.
It's killing me.
The thing
I'm
is,
sorry, Marcus.
This guy.
All right.
You never be doing that. You're supposed to try this all out before.
I know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the thing is, people kill me with all this. It's time to move on from the quarterback when you don't have a clear replacement in place. Let's not forget. Roethlisberger has been a star quarterback. He's a franchise quarterback. Probably a Hall of Famer. He definitely been the Steelers ring of fame. But he's a Hall of Famer quarterback. It's not like you're just going to get rid of a Hall of Famer quarterback and then everything, bring the next guy in and everything's going to keep smooth sailing.
There's no such thing as a clear replacement in the NFL for quarterbacks anymore.
No, Aaron Rodgers was.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I said anymore. I didn't say the past.
I agree with you on that one.
I mean, but at least you might have an idea, an inkling of what you're going to do. I mean, come on, look at the Patriots. They're like, we can move on Tom Brady and then trash season, then make the playoffs, and actually lost, didn't make the playoffs, and then the team, the Bills, who if you dominated the past 2 decades, just came in and took your spot.
But then they brought in a starter, a former number 1 pick, and that was pretty much all we can replace. And you see what happened with that.
I still believe in Big Ben. I mean, let's be real. It wasn't him. They did go 11-0, but that breakdown last season, I don't know if we contributed to him. Maybe his elbow did start hurting at the end of the season, but it was lack of run game. Get the run game there. Give him something to work with. Like you said, he was third in pass attempts. You can't have that for Big. I mean, forget an older quarterback. I think that's too much for any quarterback. I mean, get a run game going, and that was their biggest issue was that their defense petered out at the end of the season, and they didn't have a run game.
Well, I don't even know if the defense petered out. I think the defense was on the field too long because they didn't have a running game. And
injuries too. They were the 3rd, 4th string linebackers.
So if Roethlisberger, if he's willing to play, if he's in good health, I say let him run it for not just this season, maybe 2 more seasons.
Ben Roethlisberger had a worse completion percentage than Mitch Trubisky and Jared Goff last year.
Yeah, but how many times
he threw so many times?
And how many drops? Good Lord!
That's true. Yeah, there was like a few.
I'm just saying.
There was a whole lot of drops.
Johnson could get benched and it came back, so I don't attribute that to Ben.
Yeah, so I wouldn't get rid of him yet. I don't know. I mean, I guess you might be right, Herman. There is no clear cut replacement but I just don't feel right. I just be like, it's just so easy. We're just gonna get rid of this quarterback and just bring in the next dude.
It's never easy, but at some point you got to rip that Band-Aid off.
I mean, that's true, but
it's always better to rip it off a year before.
You win the division with Lamar Jackson and
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, and
yes, that's when you rip it off because now you have the oldest quarterback in the division who is on the decline.
Yes, I don't know, but I mean, what is your? So you think? You want Mason Rudolph going up against those guys?
No, you don't. You want a Mariota. You want a possible Sam Darnold. If you set your run game up, you could be younger at quarterback and continue to be the division, leader. Because you have a younger quarterback. It's always better to rip it off a year before than a year too late.
Yeah, and the same thing. And look what happened to him.
Yeah. That was an ego thing, though, and ownership let that happen.
But he'd been trying to do it for a while, though. He'd been trying to get Brady out of there for a while. Garoppolo was never supposed to leave.
Yeah, but ownership let that one happen. I mean, I just don't. I see this as the year. You're not going to see this much quarterback movement in the league in a year, like you're seeing this year.
I mean, unless they can trade for Deshawn, I just don't.
You got to give up too much for him. They're not there.
I just don't.
No, he's just saying that would be the only reason why he would get, switch out of Ben would be like maybe for Deshawn.
What about a Carr? If he was on the block to trade.
I can see Carr. I think Carr would be successful. Carr, yeah.
I'll take him.
Over Ben?
Yeah.
That's how you do it, dude. That's how you do your man.
You gotta move on at some point.
Hey.
I'm just saying you said that with a little bit too much enthusiasm. Say it with less enthusiasm.
Hey.
So you think so you think it was a bad idea for what they were trying to do?
No, I think it was good for him. If you look at it, I mean, Ben's going to the 17th season. He's turning 39. He adjusted his contract to fit the cap room. His numbers, man. I mean, he threw for 33 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. His average game was 253 yards a game. The bad part is they started out 11-0, but they fell apart towards the end of the road. They had an ugly playoff loss against Cleveland, but they started out 11-0. He played pretty well. I mean, they looked like they was ready to compete with Kansas City. The only down part I see is Ben is going into a season where you have a new offensive coordinator. He's going to have a new quarterback coach. He's going to have a new possibly offensive line, and he very well may have a new running back. Those changes, you do want to pair it with a veteran quarterback. You do.
I'm not changing offensive coordinators.
Well,
Ben's used to. I mean, he's had a whole bunch of. He's used to
a whole new system.
I'm not necessarily. I'm not totally against not bringing Ben back. I think he deserved to be back another year to show what he can do.
I think you helped to prove my point because you're talking new quarterback coach, new offensive coordinator, same old quarterback. What's the point?
Okay, was
same old Hall of Fame quarterback.
Okay,
what's the point?
Completely was Ben the reason, and the offense was the reason why they lost the game against Washington?
He threw how many picks in that game?
But when they leading in that game?
So you blaming it on the defense?
Defense gave the game up at some point too. It's a team.
Washington had a great defense too, though.
It's a team. It's a team.
But they were starting Alex Smith in that game.
But exactly.
He didn't light it up. The offense didn't score.
But the defense let them back in.
But the offense didn't score.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to put up that many points to beat Washington.
Yeah,
so it wasn't. Yeah. I mean, it's not.
It was Washington.
Totally on Ben.
But in my opinion, when you start replacing coaches and offensive systems and lines and possible running backs, unless you're starting with a veteran quarterback who's only been in the league for maybe 5-6 years, then you stick with that quarterback. I get that. This is a quarterback at the end of his career. You're gonna get 1 year out of Ben. You probably get one more year out of Ben.
I say two, at least two.
Time out. Are you saying the same thing about Brady?
What?
Are you saying the same thing about Brady? Isn't Brady older than Ben?
He's 43.
Not comparable at all.
Why?
Because Brady hasn't shown no signs of slowing down.
Well, Brady had a running game.
He did it. He had a great defense, but
I know Brady didn't throw as many times as.
Yes, he did. He threw more than Ben.
Oh, he did?
More yards or more attempts?
He threw more attempts than Ben, and Brady had more yards than Ben.
How many attempts did Brady have?
Brady had 610 attempts, and Tom has and Ben had 608. But Brady threw for 4,633 yards, and Ben threw for 3,800 yards. So if we want to start looking at, maybe we should start pointing the finger at Ben then, because if you're going to make him throw that much, he needs to be putting up the numbers to do it.
What did New Orleans quarterback? How many times did he?
Drew Brees threw 390 attempts.
Oh, okay.
He was out. Was he out?
Brees was hurt for a little while.
Yeah, Brees was hurt for a few games. Believe it or not, and get this, believe it or not, Tom Brady finished overall. Well, I'm sorry, I got to sort it by completion percentage right now, but Tom Brady had 65.7 completion percentage, and Ben Roethlisberger had 65.6 completion percentage. So, but Brian brought up Brady, so I mean, if you want to compare him, then yeah, Ben should be out the door.
Yeah.
And Brian, his name is Benjamin Todd Roethlisberger Sr. That is his name.
Wow.
I said Benjamin.
Okay, all right, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying this was Benjamin.
Well, why you saying it was such vicious?
Because he was like, well, if that is his name.
I wasn't sure if his name was Benjamin.
If that is his name.
Okay.
Let's get to the next topic. It's better.
All right, so we're gonna get this final topic in here real quick, and then we're gonna let you guys go because it is almost 9:30. I didn't think we was gonna talk this long. I thought we would be out of here.
Y'all long-winded. That's the problem.
Yeah, the biggest topic in the NFL still is the question is about Deshawn Watson. It's pretty obvious Deshawn does not want to play for Houston. Houston is claiming that they're going to stay with him, but if he was to leave, where do you think that Watson would land? Right now, the top 4 teams are the Bears, the Panthers, the Dolphins, and the Jets. Which one is the best landing spot for Watson to be successful? We'll start with Marcus. We ain't started with Marcus, have we?
No, I think you did one time, but
oh yeah, because you wasn't ready.
But no, I just have a lot to say. But I would say either the Jets or the Dolphins. You know, I think that's where he wants to go. I think it was Richard Sherman. I think he told him he got some advice from Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman told him that Saleh was a heck of a good coach, and even though it's the Jets, I believe they could definitely turn things around with Watson as a starting quarterback. So I would say the Jets would probably be the first choice, and then next would probably maybe the Dolphins. Even though I would hate to see Tua get cast aside like that after only one season, but the Dolphins are definitely on the come up. They got a good defense. So it definitely be the Jets or the Dolphins. I think the Bears definitely could use them. They definitely need them. They have a great defense, but I don't know. I'm just kind of reluctant to see Watson go there after spending that dumpster fire years in Houston. I don't know. I'm just reluctant to see him go there. And the Panthers, I really don't know. I really don't know about the Panthers, but I think the Dolphins and the Jets being my top pick, just simply because Saleh is there.
Mr. Parker.
Hey, I'm gonna have to say the Dolphins make the most sensible deal with sending Tua and with the draft choices they can give up for it to attain them. But I kind of see him really in Chicago, to be honest with you. I think Chicago makes the most sense. Because we even chatted about this in our little chat about the rumor that Chicago was trading Raekwon Smith and another draft choice to get him to acquire him. And I thought it was a pretty good deal if that was the case. But to see him in Chicago, I think Chicago's will be perfect spot for him, where they have everything pretty much around them. Just need to improve a little bit on maybe on the offensive line a little bit. But I think the Bears would be a nice spot. Panthers, I have a tough time seeing them with the Panthers, only because of they rely a whole lot on McCaffrey, and this is going to change. I think this is going to change a little bit. Now, to help McCaffrey out, yes, but I think that whole offensive look is going to look a little different with Deshaun in there. And then the Jets, that'll be the last choice for me. The Jets they need too many help. They need too much help in everywhere.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, Mark. I think, and Lord knows God, if the Dolphins ever got Deshaun Watson, we would never hear the end of it, a Herman's mouth going on how they're going to the Super Bowl next year.
You're right. They would be my pick.
Oh my God!
Hey, look.
The Bills.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
He would be like me and Marcus was about the Bills next year. You're right. You're right about that one.
But I mean, that absolutely would make them a contender. We already know that the Dolphins had a pretty good defense, a really good defense. And that's all they have. They missed a piece. They had a little bit of running back issues, but more because of injury, not because of talent. So you insert Deshaun Watson, and it's a no-brainer. I agree with you, Mark. My last choice would be the Jets. The only reason the Jets make a lot of sense, not necessarily for Deshaun, but because I think they have the most capital where they could give Houston the most. The most draft picks, the higher draft picks. So I think they could, come up with a deal that would be, happy, that would make Houston happy and possibly give Houston a chance to, regroup and get back better, faster. I could see him actually with the Panthers. I do think that he would make that offense more dynamic. I think he would actually take some pressure off of McCaffrey. I think that offense right now is too reliant on McCaffrey, and then whenever McCaffrey goes down, or doesn't make a play, that team struggles offensively. And you need to get some pressure off McCaffrey. He's not that big a guy, and you're putting your whole offense around him. He's constantly getting hit. That's part of the reason why he can't stay healthy. The Bears, oh gosh. I mean, the only thing that's nice is he would have a pretty good wide receiving crew if they can keep
Allen Robinson.
So he would have his number one again. They do have the defense, so he wouldn't have to worry about playing hero ball. It's just, I don't know. I'm not sure about the new coach that they got. I'm not new coach, but the coach that they got. I just not sure if he's the offensive guru that Deshaun Watson should receive. So I'll go Dolphins, Panthers, Bears, then Jets. Mr. Triplett, the floor is yours.
All right. So Jets would be the last choice. I don't know why he would even want to go to the Jets. I get they just got a new coach and everything, but they're starting over. Now the Jets do have a lot of capital. They can give Houston a lot. So I could see Houston, looking that way, but Jets would be my last choice. Bears would come next. I don't feel like the Bears have enough to give up. I feel like if they gave up a lot, they wouldn't be the contender that they are close to being at this point. So I don't think he should go there. Panthers is a little tricky because everything I've heard about the Panthers' involvement, McCaffrey comes with the deal. So if they're going to give up McCaffrey, there's no way in the world he should go to the Panthers, because then you're right back to a Houston situation, in my opinion. You have no offense. And, you got a couple of young wide receivers, but McCaffrey would be a deal breaker. He would have to be, be there if I was going to go there. To me, the best deal, and it just makes sense for both sides. It would make sense for both sides. Would be the Dolphins, and it would be a big debate on who got the best of the deal, depending on what's given up. But I say this because the Texans would get a first-round quarterback, because Tua has to be a part of the deal, and he's young, and he has all the potential and the upside in the world. So that's part of the deal, plus however many number one draft picks you get to go with that. The Dolphins would get a proven quarterback. They have their offense in place. Like you said, Brian, they had a few problems with their run game, but they're definitely a young team on the come up. And who better than to have a proven leader and an experienced quarterback to lead that team? So I think that the Dolphins makes the most sense because, again, they have the capital to do it. The Texans would get a good amount back in return for Deshaun. They wouldn't get them 3 first-rounders no more. I think that market's gone down a little bit. You throw Tua in, you could probably pull this off for Tua and maybe 2 first-rounders, and then maybe possibly a 4th or 3rd or something like that. But they may not have to give up the house because you got Tua, and Tua really counts as as the number one pick because he's they've shown he's healthy. So the Texans wouldn't even have to worry about that part of it because that was the question about Tua and his hip when he came out of college, whether he was going to be recover from that, whether he was going to be good. So he's shown that he is now. So to me, the Dolphins makes the most sense for Watson to go to for both sides. And
you're right too, because even if they do have a lot of draft capital too, still from all the trades and stuff they got, so they would be able to work out a nice little deal for him. So, yeah, it looks like the consensus is going to be the Dolphins, except for Marcus wants them to go to the Jets. Is Marcus awake?
I'm awake.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, there's a whole lot more, quarterback controversy and questions that we could get into, but it is 9:30, and we only plan on talking for an hour. So we do appreciate you guys, sticking in there with us, interacting with us. We really enjoyed it. We'll have a couple final words. And then
final thoughts real quick.
Huh?
Yeah, final thoughts real quick.
Final thoughts real quick, and then we'll get Marcus out of here. We'll get Marcus to get us out of here.
He said go to bed.
Because he's bored again.
He's rubbing his eyes.
Do you Herman or Marcus? Mark, which one of y'all want to do your final thought?
I'll start it off.
I always go last, man.
Yeah.
That's why I said Mark and Herman.
Threw my name in there too.
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I didn't. You just wanted to. You were hoping.
We get to the replay. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, real quick, I'm sure we all heard the news. Tiger Woods was in a serious car accident out in California the other day. Our prayers and wishes go back for him to have a quick and speedy recovery from his injury. It may be long going, it may take a while, but when I saw that vehicle, man, the first thing I thought about was the Kobe accident, and man, I was just happy to see that it said that he was injured and not killed in it. But he's very lucky to be alive. Our prayers go out to him. Just hopefully, he recovered from this pretty soon and get back to at least a normal life. At least that.
Yeah, and I second that. Thoughts and prayers to Tiger Woods, and as always, be safe. Vaccines are going out now, but you still got to be diligent. The numbers are starting to drop, which is good. But again, be safe. I'm like it's I don't say closing in, but I'm starting to know more people who've caught this virus. You know what I mean? And it affects everybody in different ways. So be safe out there, and do what you got to do. If you want to get if you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. Me personally, when I get the opportunity, I plan on getting vaccinated. I'm going to take my chances with the vaccine over taking my chances with the actual disease. So be safe out there.
You're going to turn into a zombie.
I'm going to come eat your brain first.
We're going to have to shoot Herman back. That was a little insider. We was having a little discussion about the virus turned everybody into zombies, like in that movie with Will Smith, I Am Legend. But on a serious note, Herman is right. You guys need to be vigilant. You need to continue to wear your mask. You need to continue to, social distance. This past weekend, COVID hit my children and, part of my family hard. Their grandfather, their pop, acquired COVID and actually passed away.
Sorry,
Tony Gary, rest in peace. We will miss you. It really hit home hard and real. You always hear about your friends. Even two of the five of us have had COVID in their family, but they both survived. So to hear this one was really heartbreaking. Again, wear your mask. Social distance. Do whatever you can. I joke about the vaccine, but I also will get the vaccine if it is offered to me. Marcus?
Pretty much what's already been said. Prayers go out to Tiger Woods and his family. Hope for a speedy recovery, and also like you guys have been saying, stay safe, mask up, social distance. I think we just this past week or last past couple days we just hit the 500,000 mark of deaths in the U.S.
Yeah,
COVID. So there's no game out here, and I know summertime is coming up. That warm winter's coming up, but let's not forget that we're still in the pandemic, and we may be here for a while. So you may have to delay your hot boy and your hot girl summers. Just be safe out there. Before we get out of here, I want to encourage everyone to like, share, and subscribe, especially if you're watching us on YouTube. Also, join our Facebook group, The Live Game. We're also on Twitter at The Live Game 3, and you can also catch us on Instagram at the official Delay of Game. We will see you.
Never updated.
You know what? I ain't seen a tweet in how long?
Man, my bird is sick.
But we will see you in 2 weeks. Same bat time, same bat channel. Peace. We out.
Peace.